Hello, homemakers and everyone in the chat. We are live. On tonight's episode of Homemaking with Purpose, we are going to be rethinking food options during double digit inflation. Rethinking food options during double digit inflations. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what's working for you and what your struggles are. But before we get into that, welcome to Homemaking with Purpose. I am Denise Jordan, your host, and we bring to you the best ideas, information, and interviews for today's homemaker. And tonight's episode of Homemaking with Purpose is brought to you by Apron Diva. Pretty and practical, we believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. And we've got some goodies back in stock. We've got the Lynn Slate Blue, which a lot of people have asked about. And then we have got the beautiful Grace, which has this embroidered wreath on the front that says thankful. We had so many questions about it, so many people asking when was it coming back. And so finally it is in because, as some people say, some of us are thankful all year round. So check us out at www.aprondiva.com. So boom! Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm just a little bit excited tonight. And I don't know why. I ought not to be, but I am just really excited tonight because I just want to see and hear from all of you. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is food options. So last week we talked about some things that you ought to have in your pantry and whether or not I had them in mind. And so that was a great discussion. It was a great discussion last week. And then with so many comments that I got talked about food options and not letting just beans and rice and those kind of things be the only food options. So my question to you is, what are you doing to make ends meet, to handle things during these difficult times? I just really want to know. And I just had a lot of questions about that. So hello to everyone in the chat. And I'm just going to pop Evelyn's message up here real quick. She said, my 15 bean soup looks so good. She's made that soup, but hasn't tried the dried potato flakes. We'll try the recipe next week. Love my aprons and other kitchen accessories. Well, Evelyn, the reason why I put the dried potato flakes in there was because it was a little bit more brothy than I like. I like my bean soup to be a little bit more thick. So I added the tomato flakes, blah, blah. I added the potato flakes just as a little bit of thickener. I could have added cornstarch. I could have added flour, but using mashed potato flakes or potato flakes just gives it a little bit of a thickener, but also you get a little bit more nutritional value. So that's why I added the potato flakes. So whenever you're making a soup or something like that and the broth is just way too thin, add a little bit of mashed potato flakes and it'll thicken it up nicely. Now you don't want to add too many. You just want to add a little bit. And then I've got several people joining us again. And Luann from It's Always Something Around Here is with us. And then Bree is here. Pam is here. And then Shayna is here. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then Love My Home Life too is here. Just so many nice people are here tonight. And I'm glad that you guys are there. So if someone wants to jump on and chat, like if you want to jump on and be on camera with me, let me know. I'll post the link and then you'll be free to jump on. But let me just get started with a couple of questions and I'll tell you why this came up. Well, I've been thinking, well, first of all, one of the things that I'm trying to do is cook one whole chicken and make 5 meals. And I'm working on that video. So I got the first meal done today, and then I got the chicken divided up into 4 other little parts to make 4 more meals. So my husband just came in from fishing. It seems like Wednesdays tends to be the days he's been fishing lately. But he came in from fishing, and I had our section for tonight on the stove, and I told him he could only have 1 piece of meat. And he's like, well, okay. So then he got a chicken leg and then fixed the plate with the veggies and the potatoes and all that. So then I said, so is 1 piece enough? Like, is this enough? He said, well, it is tonight because they'd been eating quite a few snacks while he was out on the boat. So he wasn't real hungry. I said, well, this is a meal for 4 people. And he looked at me like, what you talking about, Willis? And he's like, no, I don't think so. I said, well, we're cutting back on meat. So that's why this is a meal for 4 people. Now, there was plenty of veggies for 4 people, but there were just 4 pieces of meat in the dish. Uh, well, actually, there were only 3 pieces left because I'd already eaten one. So there was 2 pieces of chicken breast. I cut the chicken breast in half and a chicken leg. So those were the 3 pieces that was left. And he just kind of looked at it like, I don't know. So let me ask you, as we begin to think about this subject, if you're cutting back on meat, are you getting any pushback from your family? He usually will eat whatever I prepare. And if it's a meatless meal, he'll usually eat it. Or he might say, where's the meat to start out with? And I say, well, today's meatless Monday or a meatless option. And then he'll be like, okay. But then the next day he expects to see some meat on the table. So what's going on in your family? And let's see, does anybody want to jump and on the camera with me and share what's going on with them? So let me know that. Okay, let's see if anybody's. So cooking at Pam's place says, yes, she loves using potato flakes as a thickener. It's very good. But not only is it good, but it adds some nutrition that I think flour and cornstarch and, maybe arrowroot powder may not do. So Wendy Becker says that what she's doing is she's shopping in the store instead of doing drive up and go. That way she can compare prices, especially on meat. Now, Wendy, I have to agree with you there. The last time I ordered in groceries, but I did go back to the store a few days later just to look to see what meats were on sale. And when I went in, I made a beeline back to where they have the manager specials and where they have things on sale first. I didn't stop. I didn't pass go. I went straight to the meat department and looked there first. And I didn't pick up chickens this time because I felt like, okay, I picked up a chicken 1 or 2 a month for a while. So I thought, well, let me see what they've got in regards to pork and beef. Well, the beef was so high, I thought, well, I'm not buying any beef today. But I did pick up 2 packs of country style ribs, which are pork ribs, which they weren't necessarily on sale, but I know they're not going to get any better. So I went ahead and picked those 2 up. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. So Karen says she's grateful for her little garden. She has a very small front yard and it's her garden space. I'd rather have my city garden than to have a lawn. And lots of people are having either urban gardens or oh shoot, what did the urban gardener call that? An edible landscape. So an edible landscape is a garden that may have some flowers and things like that in it, but you may also have some herbs and tomatoes or maybe some greens or other things that you eat as well. So Karen's way of coping with double-digit inflation is having a small garden. Karen, what are you planting in your garden? Let us know that. Okay. So Bree says that she tracks prices at Costco in her notes app so she can buy when prices are low or at least normal. So since I'm not a Costco shopper, do they do like Hobby Lobby and routinely have things that go on sale? Let me know. And remember, if anybody wants to jump on and talk just a little bit about what they're doing, Luann, if you want to jump on, or Karen, or anyone that wants to jump on, I'll pop the link up and then you can jump on if you like. So Blue Skies is saying that Bree has a good idea with her notes app in tracking prices. And I have to tell you guys, I kind of quasi tracked prices today. When I made the roast chicken, the chicken was a little under 5.5 pounds, and it cost me about $6. And when I looked at the price, I had purchased it in March and it was $1.19 a pound, but I probably had some cents off with my Kroger card. I don't know, but it was a little under $6. The last chicken I bought was either $8 or $9, and it was $1.49 a pound. So you can see that chickens are up $3, which is quite a bit. So I think using an app in your phone to track prices is pretty good, because that way you'll know if something is really a deal. Now, the question I have for you though is this, and I think when I was watching Miss Homestead Hart, and Miss Hart can be really humorous. She can be really funny, but she's also very blunt. And she said there's no point in waiting to come back to see if it's going to be any cheaper, because it's not. She said you might wait to come back and it might be gone. So suck it up, Buttercup, and buy it when you see it if it's something that you need. And that's what I decided to do with the country style ribs. I decided to go ahead and buy them because I wanted them. I did want some of the beef, but I didn't want it bad enough to spend those prices at that particular time. Okay, so Heather Smathers says as long as it's pasta, her family doesn't notice if it's meatless. So that's a good thought, Heather, and that's something I was going to try. I'm going to try to make chicken, one whole chicken, a little less than 6 pounds, and 5 different meals with it for a family of 4. This family of 4 is going to be 2 adults and 2 children, 2 medium-sized children, not teenagers that eat as much as adults, but maybe 7 or 8 years old, that kind of thing. So 2 adults and 2 imaginary children. So that's what I'm trying. And one of my dishes is going to be like either a chicken Alfredo or something like that. And I'm wondering if with the Alfredo sauce and maybe a salad and breadsticks or some kind of a bread to go with it, whether or not it'll be hearty enough that my husband won't miss the meat. So Heather says her family doesn't notice if it's meatless. So Heather, is it completely meatless, or is there a little bit of meat or whatever? I've got just a little bit of chicken for each of these little dishes, but I don't know. Well, yes, I do. So a little bit of chicken for each of these meals. So Bree says her husband would be like, what's going on? Where's the meat? Meat is expensive, and she didn't eat it a few years ago, and she had a cheap grocery bill. Excuse me, Bree. I get it. Your husband's a meat eater, so is mine. I eat meat as well, but I don't eat as much. And some meals I could go without, but he likes to have meat at the meals. But if I say, hon, this is a meatless Monday, we're having a meatless meal today, he'll go along with it. Whether or not he'll go along with it more than one day a week remains to be seen, because I've not tried that. However, as you say, things are pretty expensive. So, Bree, will your husband consent to say like one day a week, a meatless meal option? Let me know in the chat. So, Karen says her son and his love are vegan. The meals she prepares are wonderful, and Karen never misses the meat when she has a meal at their home. Well, I think that's a great idea, Karen. And who knows, maybe more of us will become less meat eaters. I don't know. It's kind of funny. I've been seeing billboards all over the place, and I was driving down the road one day and I look up and there's this big billboard and there's this little creature on it. Excuse me. there's this creature on it, and it looks like maybe some kind of a, not a lobster, but some kind of a crab or crayfish or something like that. And it says, I'm me, not meat. So there's a big push for people to eat less meat. So there's that. And it is said that because of the way we eat, because we eat so much meat, then they have to raise so many animals that the excessive number of animals and the gases and the manure and stuff that they put out, a lot of that is what's affecting um, the environment as well. So there's that. So I don't know. It's a quandary. It's definitely a quandary. Oh, and you know what, Blue Skies? I don't know where my phone is. I don't have it with me. So if you have to send me a note, I'll have to catch it here on Facebook Messenger, because it just dawned on me my phone is nowhere nearby. Okay. Oh, Luann, I didn't realize you and your family didn't eat meat. So you guys don't eat meat, so it's not a problem for you. Tell me what you eat if you don't eat meat. That's my question, because as I consider meatless options, I'm like, well, what are some things that I can cook? And one of the ladies said her family doesn't eat beans at all because of the texture. So if beans are not an option, what is? So let me hear from some of you guys out there. What are your options if bean is not? So Janet says chia seeds keeps in the pantry and they plump up fast in any liquid, even without cooking. So $6 a pound, but they stretch. So 1 teaspoon to the bean soup, rice, or oatmeal. It thickens and add crunch, and the nutrients. It's a good superfood. So okay, chia. I used to have some chia. I used to put them in my smoothies. I I got that idea from the Dr. Ian K. Smith book. So I'll have to see about getting some chia again. So I'll put that down. Superfood. Like that idea. Okay. So let's see. Deb is talking to Blue Skies about gas. Okay. So love my home life too. What is your name? We like to call each other by name over here. And you might have told me, but I tell you what, I'm not remembering things as good as I used to. So tell me your name, and Blue Skies will help me remember it. But yes, cut out buying prepackaged food. You're going to get a boom, because that is one of the biggest ways to save on your grocery bill, is to cut out buying prepackaged foods. Now, what are prepackaged foods or processed foods, as Mary says on her YouTube channel? Pancake mix, French fries that you buy in the bag and they've already been treated and all that kind of stuff. Um, those little boxes of Kraft mac and cheese that, you've got all the little sauce packet and all that kind of thing in it. Those are prepackaged foods. And if you make your own pancake mix, make your own biscuits rather than buying a can of biscuits, those kinds of things, you can save a lot of money. The only caveat to that, though, is you got to buy the necessary items to make those foods at your home. So Heather says when eggs are cheap, she'll make a quiche, a frittata, or some kind of a breakfast casserole to stretch the meat, like bacon, sausage, or ham. Oh, that is a great idea. I rarely think about making a breakfast casserole, and I absolutely love them. So breakfast casseroles, that's a great idea, Heather. I know Dee at D Lovely Life always talks about making either breakfast casseroles or breakfast, like not necessarily a breakfast burrito, but like a frittata. She's talked about making frittatas and different things like that for breakfast. So yeah, so quiche, frittatas, and breakfast casseroles would be great. And quiche are also great to have for lunch too. I love a quiche. And then you can stretch the bacon, sausage, or ham that way. So maybe just have a couple of slices of bacon and crumble it up in the quiche or whatever you're making. So, Wendy, you say reduced area in the meat department. I'm not sure what you mean. You're going to have to refresh me. I must have missed something earlier. So, Shanna says she grew up a vegetarian. As an adult, she now eats chicken and fish. Um, and I guess her family likes it. And they've started preparing it only 2 or 3 times a week. Her family doesn't complain, and she's thankful. Shanna, here's the thing about my family. Everyone in my family, except for me and Blue Skies, eats fish. And I am married to the big fisherman of the Midwest. In case you missed last week's show, I showed 2 huge fish that he caught. And then I think in one of my videos, I showed some fish. He caught quite a few, and I showed that. So right now, fish is not an option for me to eat. But here's the thing. We were talking about this, he and I. He says, if things get bad enough, maybe you'll start eating fish. And I was like, Lord Jesus, please don't let things get that bad that I have to eat fish, because I really don't like it. Now, I do like tuna. I did bring some up here. Let me see, where did I put it? I do like tuna. And certainly tuna is an option. And you can do tuna casserole, tuna noodle casserole, tuna fish sandwiches. You could do all kinds of things with tuna in place of chicken and beef and pork and things like that. Tuna is still fairly inexpensive at this time, or at least the last time I bought some. I haven't bought any though for a couple of months because I already had a few cans. So who of you have bought tuna recently that might want to disabuse me of that notion? And so meat 2 or 3 times a week, or rather chicken or fish 2 or 3 times a week, is certainly a good option. So Shanna, what are you guys eating the other days of the week? If you're only having meat or fish, or rather chicken or fish 2 or 3 times a week, what are you eating the rest of the week? I'd like to know. So, oh, Valerie. Okay, so Love My Home Life 2 is Valerie. Let me write that down. Blue Skies is better at remembering the names than I am. Valerie. Okay, so yeah, cooking from scratch does help you save money. Hey, Stephanie, good to have you here. Just to refresh everyone, we are talking about what are the food options during double-digit inflation. We may have to rethink our buying habits and rethink our eating habits. So, Stephanie, how are you managing your food budget with this double-digit inflation? What are you cooking for your hubby? So, just kind of let us know. So Luann says her vegetable garden has been providing much of their food this summer. So if your vegetable garden is providing much of your food, what are you eating, Luann? Tell us what you're growing. Now remember, before you always had a really nice garden. This year, health-wise, I just wasn't up to a huge garden. So I've got some herbs, tomatoes, um, black eggplants, and some collard greens, and carrots and celery. That's all I was able to get out health wise. Joy says, found me on Wednesday, not Thursday. Great to see the show. Thank you, Joy. We have moved from Thursday to Wednesday. I tell you what, though, the Wednesdays seem to come so much more quickly than the Thursdays did. But yes, we moved from Thursday to Wednesday, and it seems like Wednesdays seem to be better for most people because we're certainly getting more people that are jumping in. So Karen says she's been eating tomatoes, onions, cilantro, basil, and potatoes. So that's what's in her garden, I believe. Tomatoes, onions, cilantro, basil, and potatoes. Yes, I forgot. I've got basil, parsley, thyme, chives, sage, oregano. I think that's it. Oh, and some peppermint. What am I going to love? Oh, Joy is in London. Yes, thank you for joining us. So now Deb says you can buy chicken cooked from Sam's Club for $4.99, and people tell me that all the time. But how big is that chicken? Is it one of those little 2 pounders? That's the question. But even if it is a 2 pounder for $4.99, you can certainly probably get at least 3 meals out of that chicken, depending upon how large your family is. If you've got a, let's say, 2 adults and 3 children or 4 children that are eat good size, you can certainly feed everybody off that one chicken. Whether or not you can get more than 1 meal, I don't know, but maybe chicken noodle soup and some kind of a chicken Alfredo or some kind of a chicken pasta dish, chicken and dumplings. Yeah, you could get 2 meals out of that chicken, and that would certainly bring the cost down. However, when I buy the whole chicken at Kroger or at Walmart and it's fresh, it's a lot bigger than those rotisserie chickens that I buy at Kroger or at Sam's Club or at Walmart. They're usually not that big. Oh, Karen's son had bought a house with 2 acres and it has a huge garden, fruit trees he shares. Oh my, fruit trees especially. That's very nice. So that's certainly a big help, a big support to be able to have that kind of thing. Speaking of fruit trees and things that people are sharing, let me just show you what I got today. One of my neighbors called yesterday and asked if I wanted some squash. So she brought me 3 of these spaghetti squashes and then 4 of these butternut squashes. So I'm looking forward to processing those for the freezer and then using a couple of them while they're still fresh. So, yeah. So if you're lucky enough to have someone that has lots of fresh produce that can share with you, that's amazing. If not, make friends with your local farmer or try to find out where's the local farmers market in your area. Everybody's got one somewhere. And sometimes just driving down the road, you'll see a stand that's up and they're selling fresh produce. So don't ignore those as well. So Sierra says tracking prices is great. They've started to track sales as Costco goes through sales cycles. And when I had Hope and Larry from Under the Median on, they talked about that, about how various stores will have a cycle or how various fruits and things have a cycle as to when certain things are come in season. And then when they're in season, they'll be on sale at those particular times. So right now, squash is in season. So you probably should be able to get squash at a pretty good price at your grocery store and at your farmers markets right now. So let's say we were going to have this squash and no meat with it for dinner. How would I make this? What would I do with it? What are your thoughts about it? Somebody help me out here. What can I consider doing with that? But yes, so track the sales, keep track of things so that when you know it's time for the sale to be coming up, then take a little extra money so that you can stock up on a few things. Okay, so Valerie says they buy the rotisserie chicken at Costco because they're $4.99 all the time and they're very good size. And as large as Costco is, they can probably afford to buy chicken at a really good price so they can keep their valued customers with the $4.99 rotisserie chicken. I like it. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. One of my husband's friends has a Costco membership. I have to find out the next time he goes out there. Hey, Ronnie, good to have you. Ronnie says where she lives, 60-count eggs have gone from $11 in June to $16 yesterday. Oh my goodness. $16. That's up $5 in just a couple of months. So yeah, eggs are really climbing price-wise. So Bree says regarding Costco, they do have things that go on sale regularly, but she does her own tracking since they don't tell you when things increase. A huge double bag of oats went from $8 to almost 12. I got that huge bag of oats several months ago and I haven't needed any more. But now if it's time for me to buy another box, now you say it's up to $12. Oh my goodness. Oh, so Ronnie also tracks hers, Bree. She has a spreadsheet where she tracks her food prices. I've just been saving my sales slips and putting them in like a little folder and then getting them out to compare them. But you're right. That's probably a good idea to put it on a spreadsheet to check it that way. So, Ozzy Cat's mom, I use the Flip app to look for sale prices in stores near me. So, the Flip app is new to me. How many of you know what that is, and how many of you use it? So, if you're on the replay or if you're on the chat, how many of you know what the Flip app is, and if you use it or not? Drop me a comment and let me know. Ozzy, you're gonna have to let us know what that Flip app is because I'm in the dark about that. So Heather says they just had bow tie Alfredo pasta with spinach, and she added a little bit of leftover chicken tonight. Okay, okay. So that's what I plan to do with one of those meals is to make some kind of Alfredo pasta and put just a little bit of chicken in it, and then we'll see what he says. Blue skies, you might get invited over for one of those dinners. So Stephanie says, look into regional farmers who grow vegetables and livestock. She's been purchasing chicken from a nearby farm. This might be a bit expensive, but it helps small farms in the long run and keeps it local. Yeah, that is an excellent idea, Stephanie, to make friends with a local farmer or regional farmer and buy produce from them when possible, and certainly buy poultry, meat, eggs, dairy, and different things like that. Okay. So Karen says in the fall, she makes a lot of soups, veggie soup, chicken soup. She shreds the chicken to stretch it, butternut squash, onion soup, and cheddar broccoli. I make a lot of soup in the fall and winter as well. It's those cozy, warm me up kind of foods. We'll be having lots more. Honey, you need something? Do you need something? Oh, I kept hearing my husband outside the door, and I thought, is he trying to get my attention? But no, he's taking out the trash. Okay, so um, in the fall, lots of soups, and I make lots of soups too. I tend to do more chilies, more beef stew, um, chicken and noodle kind of casserole kind of things in the fall and winter because it's just like you want those hearty, warm me up, cozy comfort foods at that time of the year. But we'll probably be having lots more stews, soups, and dumplings because if I'm going to be going with less meat, then I need to have something to round out that meal to kind of fill the bellies up. So yeah, and I am fortunate enough. There's only me and the hubby here. Sometimes I might get Blue Skies to come over for dinner, but not often. So I am fortunate in that it's just the two of us, and he pretty much eats whatever I cook. Those of you who have families, though, I'm sure that your challenge is a little bit different, especially if you've got little ones. Sometimes they don't always want to eat what's on the table, or we have to teach them to eat what's on the table. So, what are your struggles? What's going on with you guys? Let us know. I really want to hear from you guys today. Like what's working for you, and maybe what's working for you could help someone else. Okay. Oh, and the other thing, now Blue Sky says that she feels bad for the farmers. She knows they're under a lot of pressure. Here's the thing to think about with the farmers. And we've talked previously about the fact that food is going to be even higher in the winter than now. And then in the spring, we'll have to see what's what. But the food that's in the grocery store pretty much right now came in from last season's harvest, or it's beginning to come in from produce and things like that that's local and fresh right now. But the problem with some of the meat and different things like that is that the farmers are having to pay more to feed their animals. So they're either slaughtering their animals sooner because they can't afford to feed them, which means that prices are going to be up. There may not be as much availability because if they're slaughtering sooner, not keeping them long enough, there may be fewer animals to bring to market. There's that. They may be smaller, so there's that. And then some may just be choosing not to, I don't want to say grow animals, I'm not sure what you call it, but not to keep animals because, again, of the rising food prices to feed the animals. The lady that brought me the squash, she says she makes her own dog food. She said she canned 350 jars of dog food. She's got a big dog, and pet food has been quite expensive. So there's that as well. So yeah. All right, let's see. So Terry said she mentioned to her husband that they need to eat seafood twice a week. They used to do that, but have gotten away from it. That's certainly a good option. And I guess now that you say that, maybe I ought to start making that tuna casserole or tuna patties. I made some tuna patties and they were delicious. I'll have to do a video about those. But tuna casserole, tuna patties, and then Mary at Mary's Nest showed how to make a tuna pie that looked really, really good. So maybe we have to start thinking about that more tuna. When I was a kid, we had tuna casserole all the time. When my kids were little, we had tuna casserole all the time, tuna salad sandwiches. Sometimes my husband would make like tuna croquettes, kind of like those salmon croquettes. He would make tuna croquettes all the time. And I have not done that as much anymore. But we did have those tuna patties and they were really good. So I'll start doing that again. Okay. So Deb says that mushrooms are a meat replacement. So yes, that's good too. And I just got a note. Blue Sky says that Mary is on the show. Where is she? I've been calling her name. I've talked her up. So Mary, if you want to come on, I'm going to send Blue Skies the link to the show. And if somebody wants to jump on Blue Skies, there's the link. If somebody wants to jump on, you can post that out there for them. But hey, Mary, it's good to have you. It's so kind of you to jump on tonight. So, okay. So mushrooms are a meat replacement. So how do you make those mushrooms, Deb? What do you do? I know my mom used to use mushrooms as a meat replacement, and I've used it a couple of times. Those big, large mushrooms, I can't think of the name of them right now, but they're really big. And some places, even you can buy a sandwich and it's just that mushroom. I'm drawing a blank and I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, mushrooms have a good protein component. So they're definitely pretty good for that. Let's see. So Heather does smothered bean burritos instead of meat enchiladas. She likes this, but not all of her kids do. You know what, though, Heather? They can probably learn to eat that. The more you make them, the more they'll get used to it. Sometimes with children, it's mainly a matter of texture, and they have to be offered that food several times before they get comfortable with the texture. So Wendy got $3 off per pound of country style pork ribs. I would have liked to have gotten that sale. So Wendy says there's a good recipe from Pillsbury called Key West ribs. I'll have to give that a try. And you can stretch the meal by serving it with white rice and black beans. Okay, I like that idea. Hmm. So the good life, tell us your name. We like to call each other by names over here, but you're canning stew beef and beans tomorrow just to fill up your canner. I got to get my canner out, and I like to start doing some, excuse me, canning some meat and some other foods. So Karen said she likes roasted roots vegetables. Yeah, that's a good option. Carrots, potatoes, maybe some parsnips, sweet potatoes, toss them with a little olive oil, cracked black pepper. Yeah, that would be a delicious meal. And maybe just have a little bit of meat in it or none, so that's a good idea. So Blue Sky said she thinks of lunch meat and banquet frozen dinners as prepackaged foods. She hadn't thought about pancake mix, but yeah, it's up now too, so you can make those yourself. So Luann says they eat beans several times a week, lots of Mexican recipes, stir-fried veggies and rice, pasta and soup, and they do breakfast for dinner. I love breakfast for dinner. I love pancakes for dinner with sausages. My throat is getting dry. Sorry. And then Stephanie says it's hard to get her husband to try new things. He just got his appetite back. Well, I understand that. So if he's just got his appetite back, you might not want to try anything new on him, but maybe you might cut back a little bit and see what he says. I told you guys the look my husband gave me when I said that the meal I made tonight was for 4 people. He was like, "What?" So, for those of you that are just joining us, we are talking about rethinking our food options during the times of double digit inflation. People are letting me know what they're doing, what their struggles are, what's working for them. And also, our featured apron is our apron that says thankful on it. We call it Grace. It's hanging up back there on the door. It's back in stock for fall. Um, Acre Homemade uses a baked oatmeal for breakfast. I saw someone doing an overnight oats the other day that looked amazing. I'd always wondered what the overnight oats were. So I would like to give that a try, but I'll have to go and look at Becky's baked oatmeal. So Deanna says she gets her, wait a minute, wrong one. Ozzy says she gets pancake mix at Dollar Tree for $1.25. Now, here's the thing. And I was going to bring up Dollar Tree, like, where are you shopping to try to work on this food budget? Keep in mind that at Dollar Tree, you have to be aware of the best buy or expiration dates because so often Dollar Tree will short date their food. So sometimes when I say I don't mean they'll short date them, but the foods that they get into their store, sometimes the expiration dates on them are shorter than maybe some of the ones you might find at Kroger. So I'm not saying don't buy a Dollar Tree because you got to buy what your budget can afford, but make sure you're rotating those things out and getting them used up because you don't want things to expire. So breakfast casseroles in the crock pot, and they make great leftovers. I'm going to try it. And yes, Wendy, that's why when I go to Kroger, I head for the manager special first because that's where they put the meats that they've got to sell. Because if they have to sell them fresh, they can only keep them fresh so long before they have to freeze them. So I try to do that. Uh, so Ronnie says she looks for the meats with the yellow reduced tag strips. So Carolyn says she eats side dishes as main dishes. So Carolyn, tell us what those are because what you say might help someone else. So what side dishes do you use as a main dish? If I make mac and cheese as a side dish for Sunday dinner, it can be a main dish on Meatless Monday. So there's that as an option. So Carolyn, what are you using for those? Okay, you guys are talking to each other. That's good. Okay, so now Heather says her family likes baked potatoes and salad night. So she's even fed this as a dinner for her in-laws and they liked it. Certainly baked potatoes, like maybe have a baked potato bar with salad, maybe some breadsticks or something. But when we do a baked potato bar, I might put, if we're having meat, I might put out chili to put on that baked potato, or we might do cheese, um, sour cream, chives, sometimes black beans. You can put all kinds of stuff on top of those potatoes and make them nice and hearty. So Blue Skies has been to Dollar General, but not the Dollar Tree. And she doesn't like them much because she says they're always in disarray. You know, the good life, tell us your name. We need to know your name, but you've canned and frozen lots of veggies from the garden and also dehydrated and canned. I'm going to try and dehydrate some peppers. I want to see how that works. And also some celery. I want to try to dry some celery, make some celery flakes of my own and see what happens. So Blue Skies, yes, I know she doesn't eat much meat anymore. So I don't buy meat for you. Every now and then I'll bring her something. Bree says she just asked her husband about meatless meals and he gave her a blank stare. She'll have to try to slowly incorporate those type of meals again. So yeah, that's what you'll have to do, Bree. Either try to slowly like slip one in. Just say, honey, we're gonna have meatless Monday. Do mac and cheese. He might go along with that. Um, you could try fish and see what he does. Or beans or something like that that's pretty hearty. Try beans, maybe with a little cornbread, some rice or something like that, and see what he says. So Luann says they have beans, a different variety of squash, tomatoes, peppers, and melons, lots of herbs. And she's starting her fall garden now. You know, Luann, you should jump on Tuesday nights when the New Orleans Gardener is on. They're always talking about gardening and different things like that. And a lot of people are starting their fall gardens right now. And they're always talking that I think you would love that gardening community. So bean and veggie stews are good and curries. I don't do curries much and I like them. So I don't know why. I should try them. But bean and veggie stews, yes, I like a good bean stew, a good vegetable stew, and I do enjoy curry. So Shanna says they use beans to make things like patties and burgers. So they'll use black beans and lentils. For meatballs, she used falafel balls in place. And then instead of honey or sesame chicken, they use tofu to make Chinese. Blue skies, there you go. So Shanna uses tofu to make Chinese food. So that's certainly an idea. Blue skies loves to use Chinese tofu. And that was one of the things that I thought she was going to bring up when you're talking about what are some options that we could go with. And tofu was certainly one of those. She made some chicken nuggets. They were tofu nuggets and they were okay. Yeah, she's laughing at Bree's husband's facial expression. Okay, so Valerie says, why does that keep popping up? Sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. But Valerie says that Costco's chickens are a good size. So I'm going to keep that in mind to see about doing that. Now, here is a good, oh. Um, Portobello mushrooms. That's what it is. Portobello mushrooms. I couldn't remember the name of it. It's portobello mushrooms. Those are the big mushrooms that people use as burgers. So Lance says that she tried the portobello mushrooms when my husband and his facial expression was unforgettable. So yes, portobello mushrooms. So did he think it was a burger or what? I would like to have seen that facial expression. Now, Karen says she uses leftover ham. She'll chop it up and put it in snack size bags in the freezer. And then when she makes homemade mac and cheese, she might add a little bit of the ham to that. That's good use of the ham. Yes. Yes. So yes, so Lance was talking about his husband's facial expression. I was trying to remember that too, Lance. I was trying to remember the name of that mushroom, and I'm glad that you remembered it because I could not. Okay, so now Shanna says curry tofu is good. Rachel, hello, Rachel. How are you? How's that new baby? How big is she now? Rachel's got a new baby in case you guys didn't know. So let us know how that new baby's doing. So this is a good suggestion here that Teresa has. And she says, check out the Asian supermarkets. That's one of the things I think we all ought to consider doing is checking out the supermarket, some of the ethnic supermarkets that might be in our area, because they may have some fresh produce that you may not be able to find, as say at your Kroger or Walmart or something like that. And many times, some of the other markets also will have some things at a cheaper price. So certainly check out not just the Asian markets, but if you've got a Mediterranean market, a Hispanic market, or any kind of ethnic market that is different from Walmart or Kroger's, check it out. And so she says she goes to an Asian market for dehydrated greens, dehydrated mushrooms, seaweed, etc. Yeah, I don't think I've seen any seaweed like at Kroger or Walmart. So yeah. Nicole says that she mixes bell peppers in a food mixer and dehydrates the paste. Then she adds it to season all kinds of bean dishes, and the peppers last longer. Oh, wow. What a great idea. Bell peppers in a food mixer and then make a paste and then dehydrate that. Oh, I like that idea. You'll have to share that recipe with us. Let's see. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, guys. So Shannon says bean pie is her children's favorite dessert. I love bean pie. So Rachel's asking, what do you make with your tofu? You must be talking to Blue Skies because I rarely make tofu, but when I have made it, I've used the crumbles to make like spaghetti and meat sauce, and I use the tofu as a meat substitute, and then I would have spaghetti. So, how many of you use tofu as a meat substitute? What are you doing? What are you using for your meat substitutes? Let us know. So Bathsheba says her husband was vegan, so now he's not. So getting him to go meatless isn't that big of a deal. Okay. So Mimi says that tofu is her favorite plant-based protein. What are some other plant-based proteins that we can consider using? Tofu is one, beans are another one, but what else? What are other plant-based proteins that we could use? And then Blue Skies is talking about nachos she's made with tofu, nuggets she's made, and then she's going to try some vegan sour cream. Mimi says ethnic markets, 40% of her food, and it's cheap. Okay, so 40% of your food come from ethnic market. That's a good tip. So the one who loves Jesus says, yes, the ethnic markets have great stuff. Let's see, Lance is saying that his Nam de Mun in Georgia is great. So Rachel's baby at the 2-week appointment was 9 pounds, 13 ounces, 23 inches. Okay, so she's coming along nicely. Good. And she's sleeping well. Good. Max, how have you never had bean pie? Bean pie is excellent. Oh, so the one who loves Jesus said they found toilet paper cheaper in some of the ethnic stores as well. Hmm. Honey baked ham stores sell ham bones for very little and they have a lot of meat on them. I will have to check that out because you can use the ham bones to make beans and other things like that. So that's worth looking into. So, Teresa, are you using quinoa for your protein? Okay, I like that option. Karen says pumfu. So, quinoa and pumfu. I've not heard of that. And then Luann says lentils. Okay, I'm familiar with those. I guess I was kind of putting lentils in with the beans option. So there was that. So, okay. And then Mimi says tofu is great in soups, pan fried, add sauce like orange chicken sauce, and it's TVP and meat sauce. It's not sure what that is. Oh, Karen says pump food is plant based and you can season it like you would a steak. So is it like a slab of meat or something like that? Okay. Jackfruit is a great meat replacement. Where she can't eat walnuts, it's also a good meat replacement. But yes, quinoa is a complete protein, so that's good. Protein other than tofu, beans and lentils, leafy greens, and some nuts. Okay. Well, I've never made bean pie. I guess I could try to do a video. A lot of Muslims eat bean pie, or at least they used to. When I was younger, um, I shouldn't say a lot of Muslims, the Nation of Islam in various communities used to make bean pies and they would sell them in their stores and shops and things like that. And they're very good, nice and sweet. But I'll have to figure out a recipe for that. Okay. You can also make your own plant based milk from oats, almonds, cashews, sesame seeds, and rice. All right. Oh, goodness. I don't know what keeps happening tonight. So, Mommy on a Budget says they get most of their non meat when they're on sale at Kroger and they have a rebate, making them almost free like Beyond Meat. Now, I have to wonder about those Beyond Meat options, um, those non meats, those processed things they make together that look like meat, that are chicken flavored or whatever. How much are you saving on those? I always wonder, is it more economical just to go ahead and do your beans and rice and other things than to buy those Beyond Meat kind of things? Because it just seems like they're awfully expensive, but I don't buy them. So you guys let me know if that's actually true or not. Okay, I got you. So yes, vegetable lasagna with egg and ricotta cheese. not plant-based, but filling. And you know what? It doesn't have to be plant-based. We're not talking about going vegan. We're just talking about eating less meat. So however you do that is up to you. You can still have some animal products, protein such as your meat, your egg, such as your milk, your eggs, and things like that, and be okay. Oh, pump food is made of pumpkin seeds and water packed into a block like tofu. Okay, pump food. I have to give that a try. Valerie said her husband is definitely a carnivore, but he does like red lentil pasta. Okay. So, pump food has a light green color that's not off putting and it's made from ground seeds after all. And tofu is just flavor of whatever you cook it with. Okay. All right. So Blue Skies is going to pick the Apron Note winner. Go ahead and do that. And it's about time for us to wrap it up, ladies and gents. And I got the note right here. I was trying to pick a different one, but no, that's not what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to take the one that comes up randomly. And the one that popped up said, what you do matters. And actually, I suppose that's a perfect one for us to have for tonight because what you do in regards to your budget does matter. Oh, mommy on a budget gets ground beef on sale. I would definitely try to do that. I got the free eggs from Kroger's the other day. I've seen corn meat substitute, but I just have to wonder about buying those meat subs. Are they expensive, Joy? That's my question. I've seen them though. Uh, yep, lasagna's a win-win wherever. Blue Skies, you could just go ahead and put the name of the winner in the chat. That way I can see it. Hey, Lavina 36, my other sister, one of my other sisters has jumped on tonight. Good to have you here. Karen Stairs. Ha! Karen Stairs is the winner. You guys heard that little bing. So, Karen is the winner of the apron note. And the note tonight was what you do matters. So, what you do for your food budget absolutely does matter. So, you're the CEO and the COO of that home. Um, One of the things that I thought that might be interesting, because I had a bunch of questions here that I wanted us to address in case you guys ran out of things to talk about, which is what time of day do you shop? When I'm going to go shopping, I try to go early in the day, somewhere between 10 and 2 o'clock, certainly before 2. I like to go between 9 and 12 if I can. And then I make my beeline for the manager specials so I can see what's been marked down and grab those if they've got something. Because after 2 o'clock, kids are starting to get out of school and then moms may be coming into the store with kids and stuff like that. So that's when I like to go. Blue Skies, you were saying earlier about when you like to shop. So what do you guys like to shop? Now, oh, back to Karen. Karen, as the winner, you need to send me your mailing address and you need to send it to my email address here. Don't put it in the chat because the chat is public. Send me your mailing address at this email and I will send it out to you. So please do that. There it is. Okay. So Lance likes to go as soon as the store is open. So Lance, when you say as soon as the store is open, are you in the store at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, that kind of thing? Let me know. Teresa likes to go early in the day as well. Ronnie shops between 7 and 10. Too many people after 10. Yes. Yeah, there are people do start to come in. Heather likes to shop early on Saturday, or she goes after dropping off the kids at school. Okay, I get that. Valerie likes to go early in the morning, and then Danny likes to go early in the morning while the employees are stocking. Yes, because they're stocking things up so the shelves are very full. Blue Skies likes to shop the second or third week of the month because the first week of the month things are much better. So if you're on the chat, if you're on the replay, tell me what time of day you like to go shopping. If you like to go in the morning, early afternoon, or do you like to go after work, or do you like to go late in the evening? Tell us. We'd like to know. Terry shops the first half of the day, Wednesdays, for two families. So she's tired at the end of the day. She's in her 70s. Terry, I get it. I'm just shopping for me and I'm tired sometimes. But Blue Skies like to shop during the second or third week of the month because the first week of the month, things are much more depleted. Also, she likes going between 10 and 11. That's the best time for her to beat the crowds. Yeah, morning has the best markdowns because if they mark down, you get there early to get them. Otherwise, someone else has already picked those up. All right. Well, we've had a pretty good discussion tonight. I appreciate you guys jumping on with us for that. Let me invite you to check out my video that I just posted yesterday on a meatless meal option. Linda at the New Orleans Gardener had challenged us all to do a meatless Monday. So I did a 15 bean soup. And then the week before that, we had talked more about just some things you need to pick up and have in your pantry. So please check those items out as well. Don't forget our featured apron for this week. And I think it's about time for us to wrap this up. We can be on here all night. Beans, lentils with onions, liquid smoked molasses, tastes like ham and bean soup. Okay. Barley and oats have soluble fiber to remove cholesterol. Yes, processed meat is very costly. See, that was my thought, Jen, is that processed meat, is that those processed, meats are pretty expensive. Oh, thank you, Pink Leaper. I appreciate that. Oh, Ronnie wanted to know, did I add the packet that came with my beans? No, I did not. The packet that comes with the beans is a ham flavoring. I don't usually add it. I add some other spices and I use my own chicken broth, so I did not do that. But you did see me at the very end for those people that wanted to add a ham bone. I did have a ham bone option. And I almost forgot. I have Happy Mail. So let me show those. Lance, before you go, let me show my Happy Mail. I got a letter from Trish Aldrich and her daughter. A lovely letter from Trish and her daughter and a nice picture. Not going to let you see the letter, but I will show you the picture. So Trish is wearing the Hannah apron, which is one we got in for Hanukkah. And then her daughter is wearing the one we call Rose. And it's just one of those little pretty ones that we like to have that were very, very popular. So thank you for sending me that picture of you and your daughter and this lovely letter. I've been getting so much really nice Happy Mail lately. People have been sending letters and I like it. So thank you for that. All right. Very nice picture. Okay, ladies and gents, I'm going to see you guys next week. Remember, we're meeting on Wednesdays instead of Thursdays for the rest of the summer, and we'll see how things go. People tend to like the Wednesdays, so we'll probably keep that. But in the meantime, I'll see you next time. Bye.